Body under the wax. I knew it.
Starring Vincent Price.
Everything I have talked about has been taken away from me.
It was the first movie in color to be released in 3D.
Here's how it lines up with Bible prophecy on the last 7 days. Uploaded as a podcast Wednesdays and run live every third Friday at 12 o'clock noon Central on GJRB.
Imagine one day tuning around on your internet radio only to find a station playing old radio programs complete with commercials and thinking, what am I tuning into? The past? You might be, or it's just GJRB Online and Radio Land. They have nothing but classic radio shows back to back with classic commercials in between, like the days of radio. Almost like your computer is picking up signals through time. Closer than you'll ever get to time travel. Radio Land.
We all run a busy schedule, and maybe we don't have time to catch the Gary Russen program. Well, here's the solution. The best of the Gary Russen program, highlighting the most memorable parts of recent shows. Each podcast I will play clips of previous shows and talk about them. Watch for podcast uploads during the GJRB's podcast weekend on GJRB's public site on Spreaker, reflecting on the past memories of past shows. The best of the Gary Russen program on GJRB.
Suicide's increasing among the youth, and many of them playing suicide games. This has to stop. Parents, watch your kids, and if you feel there's something going on and they are considering suicide, please talk to them, help them. And if it seems hopeless, call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. That number is 1-800-273-8255. They can help. It's free and confidential. The call will be answered by a trained counselor in a local crisis center. The National Suicide Prevention Lifeline can help.
When I was little, I didn't talk for a long time. I was sensitive to lights and sounds, so I built secret hiding places where they couldn't get in. Sometimes I did the same things over and over, until one day I found out I had autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
The weird, the strange, the bizarre. Way out fun, way out there. Another show coming soon on GJRB Online.
Yeah, here it is, Blake. Green onions, Booker T, and MGs as we roll along on the Gary Russen program. Oh man, what's the matter with these Cubs anyhow? Come on. Jeez. They're getting slaughtered today. Shit, what the heck is going on with the Cubbies, man? They're not winning. What's the matter with these guys? They're blowing this game. Oh my goodness. Why the heck are they blowing this game? They're 8-2 in favor of the Pittsburgh Pirates right now. And I think they're headed to the 8th inning, if I'm not right. Well, anyhow, this is the Gary Russen program on GJRB. You know it. Get a little bit of piano music in there, a little BB Bumble and the Stingers. Oh, man. Your bonus tune. That's a great piece of music. Great instrumental from 1961. Be Bumble and the Stingers and Bumble Boogie. All right, here on GJRB Online. I think that's right. I love that piece of music. I did since I was a kid. I thought it was a great piece of. And I'm just an instrumental freak. I'll be playing. I play a lot of them. I play a lot of other stuff, but I love playing instrumentals as one of my favorite pieces of music to play here. But you can tell. I just love it. Anyway, you're welcome back to the Gary Russen program here on Spreaker. If you'd like to be part of the show, it's music, fun, and talk this afternoon on our freestyle show. The last show before we head on out of here and head out to Iowa City. And it's going to be one of those really bizarre, I don't know. Well, see, it's been a while. Well, no, I'm going to say that because I think the last time I was under anesthetic, I had teeth pulled. And I came out of it okay. So, I mean, I'm not really worried about that. It was a long time ago, but I remember being anesthetic. Then maybe I was under local when I had my angiogram, but I don't know. It doesn't bother me at least. I was a little worried about it coming into it because everybody's telling me this, everybody's telling me that. Everybody's telling me I was going to have rehab and I was going to have to learn to talk again and all kinds of stuff like that. And I was like, oh, great. You might not hear me for a year. But anyhow, I'm back. I'll be here. I'll be back. Like I said, you just don't keep the G-Man off the air too long. You know what I mean? Because I'm here. You have to put up with me. I'm crazy. I'm just that way. And, anywho. Hey, I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to get ready because I got another break coming up. I got news on the way and more really good things happening here on the Gary Russen program here on Spreaker. Across America and around the world, GJRB Online is the station. The internet on Spreaker. And this is where it happens most of the time. This is where I find new ideas and pull them off. And I had some really good stuff. And oh, yeah, coming up a little later on, I will tell you about some of the things I do have coming up.
And I've got some really neat stuff I'm going to be talking about in the next half hour, and that including some of my summer programs I got coming up, spring and summer, especially my spring program. When I get back, I'm going to be doing some encore presentations. One is the artist showcase I did with Samuel Day last year, and I'm also going to repeat the Swing Time show I did about 1945, featuring the year 1945, and I'll be playing that in its entirety. I've got I'm working on my next Swing Time show featuring the music of Stan Kenton. So we'll be bringing you Stan Kenton on our next Swing Time show, and I'll be writing that program. And I'm going to write another couple more Swing Time shows, because I love that big band music. And we'll play some big band later, too. I love playing that kind of music. Yeah, I've got a lot of really good things coming up. It is close past that Weather on the Fives time. So since we're doing freestyle, I'm going to move the Weather on the Fives to about 4:15. So we're around there. Yeah, let's try about 4:15. We'll do Weather on the Fives. Then I'll do a sports page later, too. But I thought we'll just kind of do that and get ready for the next newscast, which is coming up. And various things like that. Got a lot of really good things coming up. And, of course, preview some of the news stories we'll have. And we'll do a scroll through social media, too. I always do one of those where I kind of go through Facebook, Twitter, Google+, all the social sites. And I got that coming up. So a lot of really good things on the way. Hope you'll stay with me. The Gary Russen program here on Spreaker on GJRB. And this is where it all happens, man. You know, this is where I enjoy bringing all this stuff to you and just enjoying the music. And we'll play some more good ones too as well. And we played a request earlier for Blake Myers. Yeah, a real good one for Blake Myers, and that was. The Green Onions by Booker T and the MGs. It's a classic. And then I'll play some more. You know, I just play all kinds of stuff in between everything else, because I like to just play music too as well, especially when it gets kind of dry around here, nothing to talk about, you know, lost for words, so to speak. You know, I just play music to kind of bumper some of that. Why I call it bumper music, I don't know. Maybe that's why. I don't know. I just made that up. I don't know. Don't ask me how I made it up. I just did. It just, things come out without my control. What am I looking for? I'm in my database. This is what I mean. I hope when I get out of this surgery, I'll be able to go into a database here on the computer and know what the heck I'm looking for. Oh, yeah, here it is. Okay. I was just looking for something. Okay, and I couldn't find it, and I found it, so now I'm good. But getting close to the top of the hour. So what I'm going to do here, okay, come on now. Okay. All right. Let's see. I want to do this. Okay, right here. And, yeah, get ready for the next half of the Gary Russen program. But right now, I think what we need to do is get ready, because it's time to top of the hour, getting close to it. Here in Spreakerland, USA, GJRB Online on the internet, broadcasting the social sites, including Facebook, Twitter, Google+. And this is the Gary Russen program, getting close to 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock in the Central Time Zone right now, 5 o'clock East, 2 o'clock Pacific. And you have me. Why? Don't know. You have me, Gary J. Russen, GJRB Online on Spreaker, on the internet, right here on the Big G. From America's Heartland, this is GJRB, Clinton, Iowa. GJRB News. I'm Gary J. Russen. Syrian government forces remain on high alert Tuesday at military positions across the country. They're fearful of a U.S. strike after an apparent chemical weapons attack near Damascus. Tuesday, Syrian officials invited international chemical weapons watchdog investigation to launch a fact-finding mission into a suspected poison gas attack over the weekend. Foreign Ministry said Syria will help the organization for the provision of chemical weapon investigators in the alleged attack which killed 40 people. Other news. Let's see what other news is going on here. We'll have this coming up this hour when we scroll the social media. From CBN, there's a dream come true for me and devoted readers who believe that it's going to be huge. Karen Kingsbury, author of Baxter Family. It's a CBN post. And let's see what other news. I'm going to kind of search through this. Now let's see. Let me go to my news feed and find some more stories. But meanwhile, let's take a break. After I remind you of the stock market report, let's take a look at the stocks at this hour. I want to shut that off. Okay. Stock market report. Let's do that, and then we'll take a brief break and then be back. Let's see here. Dow Jones Industrial Average on Tuesday's trading. Let's do that. I think it would be the closing markets for today. The Dow Jones Industrial Average closed up 428.9. The Nasdaq is up 143 points, and the S&P is up 43. This is GJRB News. And while I'm thinking about it, let's continue on. I have some more stories coming up this hour that we're going to talk about, including President, let's go in, I'll be talking about this hour. Let's go into my Facebook here where I have my news and find you those stories. Some of the stories coming up this hour that we'll be talking about within the hour on our GJRB's original news talk program. President Trump is less inclined to sit down with special counsel in an interview after his raid on his personal attorney's office. He is declined to speak or even meet with an interview. Okay, he's reluctant to interview. A written interview. He's going to either do a face-to-face interview or a written questionnaire as to why he told sources at ABC News. Okay.
That dramatic position White House.
Let's see. Yet, the wake of Monday's FBI raid and the home of the office of Michael Cohen, President's longtime personal counsel, multiple sources tell ABC News that things might be changing and that the president, per one source, is understandably less trusting of Mueller and his team. Multiple sources say that advisors don't know how to deal with the president's frustration for bracing for what he may do next. One source in close contact with the White House says that all possibilities are in play. During a lengthy rant on Monday in the cabinet room, the president told reporters that special counsel team was the most conflicted group of people I have ever seen, unquote. Sources emphasize that no final decision on the potential interview by the president with special counsel team has been made as negotiations continue. The president's lawyers handling of Russian probe, Jay Sokoloff and Ty Cobb, declined to comment. Who's that Ty Cobb? Yeah, it's interesting how his name is the same name as a baseball player. You notice that? Anyhow, we'll talk about that and a whole lot more all coming up this hour as we continue the Gary Russen program. News at the bottom of the top of the clock to keep you on top. GJRB News. I'm Gary J. Russen at the GJRB News Desk. The
The primary start to rock and roll music. Music in which artists express their feelings through music. This is a new blues show featuring the best of the blues, with new emerging artists getting their thrill of hearing their selections played along with the greats like Muddy Waters, B.B. King, and Etta James, along with a whole lot more. The doors open in May to the Blues House on GJRB. End times are upon us, and we need to know what's happening. Knowing the truth is key to survival. There are lots of news events going on in the world that have certain significance to end-time happenings. Listen, as men and women gather to discuss the news and how it lines up with Bible prophecy on the last 7 days. Uploaded as a podcast Wednesdays and run live every third Friday at 12 o'clock noon Central on GJRB.
Next news at the bottom of the hour. Get Rockets praised, you're covered and informed. Now let's continue to talk with the Gary Russen program.
You know it. Back on the air, the Gary Russen program on Spreaker. On GJRB. Welcome to the second hour of the Gary Russen program. As we have a couple more hours left before we close up shop for a little bit and deal with the brain. Let's hope that doctor isn't a zombie, brains. Yeah, anywho, welcome back to the Gary Russen program. Where else can you hear this much craziness and wonder why? Welcome back to the Gary Russen program on GJRB Online here on Spreaker, and I hope that you will stay with me. Sunshine today, finally in Clinton, Iowa. Finally getting warm. Tomorrow expected to be 65. A balmy 65. It's about time. Thought we'd never see this warm weather, do you? Boy, what do you think about Trump, huh? It looks like he's reluctant to interview with, what was he say? What's this? See, I'm confused about the whole thing. I was thinking they fire Mueller. I mean, is he firing these guys just because he's onto them? See, this is what I'm thinking here, okay? He's firing these guys because he knows he knows they're something. The jig is up. I personally think Trump knows the jig is up, and that's why he's acting this way. He wants to. He doesn't like the fact that he's being investigated. He doesn't like the fact that I guess it's proven that there was a payoff to Stormy Daniels. You see. And so now he could go in there and threaten to fire Mueller. Okay, so he's got to fire Mueller. He's scared. He's scared. He knows he's up. So the jig is almost up, folks. Definitely, the jig is almost up. He knows he's going to get in the big trouble. I was going to wonder if he's going to, either he's going to throw his hands up and give up, or he's going to continue to fight by trying to fire whoever he can fire that is onto him. Really, it's getting that way. I mean, he's probably going to, if I wonder who else he's going to fire. The White House still insists nothing happened. Putting it under the rug. And of course, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, I like her and everything, but, she's putting a lot of support behind Trump. And rightly she should. I mean, technically he's her boss, but, you have to wonder about this thing, Is it getting out of hand already, you think? Seriously? It just might be. I mean, how much longer are we he's going to hide the fact that he paid off, technically, it's prostitution. Okay? Plain and simple. So, what's going to happen now? It's hard to say. It's getting interesting, isn't it? Really is. We'll find out. I'm going to do scroll through social media coming up here on GJRB Online. But meanwhile, what I'm doing right now is I'm going to, usually what I do is I go into my social sites right now, like Google Plus, and start spreading my show around again. And I don't know if anybody else is listening right now. I haven't checked my main board. So what I do is, if I see that I don't have any listeners on or listening to the show, I'll start going in and posting the show around. And let's see, that's what I do. And put it all over social sites and everything again. Like MeWe and that, and see if we can get some more listeners out there. So I'm going to all the other social sites that I talk to and posting. I'll even post to the ones that are already have show this up, just to get attention, to the show. So that's what I do sometimes. So I'm going to go over to that new one I started, MeWe. Sounds funny. MeWe. It's a free speech site that put on by Dave Cruz, I think his name is. He's fabulous. So we're going to go over there. I need to get a hold of this guy. See if I can advertise MeWe a little bit for him. I might do a free advertising. I'm going to send him a message and see if he would like to advertise free here. I will advertise MeWe, run a few commercials and everything too. So, let's see here. We got some messages already on here. So I'm going to check my notifications here. What do we got? Dave Cruz, what does he write? Dave Cruz commenting on my post. Today is National Sibling Day. God bless me with, okay, so let's see here. He likes my posting about just 47 minutes away. Sorry, commentary has been deleted by owner. Okay. But anyway, I'll get a hold of Dave Cruz. I'm going to do that. And then we'll talk about the social sites a little bit. I might try to get a hold of this guy for a guest on this show because he would be kind of interesting to talk about this. So I'll do that sometime because he's interesting. In the midst of all this yeah. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and, go ahead and post here. And, okay, got part 2 up there. Let's see if we get some listeners from MeWe. And, maybe we'll have him listening and, see if he'd like to be a guest on the program. And then we'll go ahead and, put some stuff here on Pinterest. I put this show on Pinterest as well. And that's just to gain some audience. Because I like to do that. I gain audience that way. By putting it on Pinterest, I think I could gain a little bit more audience that way. I just go all over the sites that I broadcast to. And meanwhile, we're going to go ahead and do a scroll through social media coming up. Okay, got a group there. MeWe News and Updates. I'll have to check that out. A few other things, so we'll take a look at that later. And I'll go through some of those pages. Mostly, I think the one that really posts more on there is Dave Cruz at this point. So I'm going to post some spots on here for him. And see if we can get some more people on his social site for him. I think we're going to do that. And when I get back from my surgery, I'm going to sell. Well, I'm not going to sell. I'm going to offer him some free, some advertising time, free advertising time here on GJRB. So I think, really, because this could be a really good site. I like the way it's. I like the way it looks. It kind of looks like Facebook in a way, but it's not. It's a really nice site. So I'm going to do that. Right now, though, let's do weather on the 5s right now and take a look at some temperatures across America. Let's do that right now. Let's take a look here. Charleston, West Virginia. Looking at partly cloudy, 49 degrees. It's 70 degrees in Birmingham, Alabama. Sunshine. 53 degrees and partly cloudy in Washington, D.C. In Buffalo, Illinois, 43 degrees and cloudy. 39 degrees and cloudy in Boston, Massachusetts. 67 degrees and sunshine in Shreveport, Louisiana in this hour. And we'll take a look at some weather in your neck of the woods in different parts of the country coming up throughout the afternoon here on the Gary Russen program. Weather on the 5s at any time in the hour when we do freeform, or 5, 15, 25, 35, 45, 55, 55, 65, I don't know. Anything that ends in 5, okay? Any time of the hour here on the Gary Russen program, here on GJRB Online. And we do weather on the 5s to keep you on top of what's going on in the news, you know? So I'm going to, I need to do something here real quick. I want to get into my next segment. So I'm going to pull up my next Spreaker player, my Spreaker studio, my Spreaker web-based, actually. Going to pull that up here for my next part, so I have to get that ready. And I'm going to close up a few tabs that I really don't need anymore. Because usually when I do a news story, like 2 times, I don't like to get burned out on it. You know how it is when you, really, a news story doesn't need to be, repeated too many times. So if I get burned out on a news story, more than likely what I'll do is delete it, because I usually the story's old by I think within 24 hours, something like that. And after a while, the story gets old and I don't like to repeat it. So sometimes when a news story gets old, I usually just tank it after a while, because there's no need to repeat it. After we've done the news story, more than likely it's old news by then, so I don't know what's going on here with my web-based mixer. I might have to go to Spreaker Studio in the next part if this dumb thing doesn't work today. I don't know. It was working earlier yesterday, and now for some reason I'm not getting there. It won't take me to. I might have to do part 3 on Spreaker Studio on Studio, because web-based is not working again. Okay, I'm going to try it again. Try to run Adobe. I might have to refresh this computer again or do some updating, because apparently it's not letting me do web-based mixer at this point. I like that web-based console, but sometimes when it does this stubborn streak, I the heck with it. I'm just going to do studio the rest of the show. It's not even worth the pain in the rear end. Ooh, what it is today. I'm going to try it one more time. I'm going to go into the main site. I'm going to try it one more time. What I might end up doing, if it does not work, is I'm going to have to use the studio through the show, because somehow my DJ console on the Spreaker web-based mixer is not working again. So I'm going to have to refresh the plug-in and forfeit this today. So there will be no web-based mixer today. Sometimes I think I'm getting better at a point where I really don't even need it half the time, because someone told me that I don't sound good coming through it. But when I play it back on my side, it works, so I don't understand it. Quite don't. So I guess I'll just, we're freestyle. And what I'll do is I'm going to do a computer clean and take a look at my Adobe Flash Player and try to get that thing running again, and for some reason it's not working today. So onward with just an all studio show today, because it's not worth the pain and the bother to try to get that thing to work. I don't know what's wrong with it. No, I was only going to use web-based for one part, so that's okay. I'm just going to go ahead and let it be, like the Beatles say. And it's Freestyle Friday. This is a freestyle show anyway. It's kind of like a Friday. This is my last show before I go to surgery, so this is all freestyle from here on in. My automation stuff works. I know it does. I just need practice on a few things. And I'll be back, and like I told you earlier, I'm going to do one show a week, but I could do more if I do feel like it. So in other words, one show a week after I get back. I'll have my first show back, and then I will do one show a week on either a Thursday, Friday, or Saturday extra. And more than likely, as I build up my automation and get my programming together, then I'll be gradually doing 2 a week, and then 3 a week, etc., etc., etc. And then leading up to full broadcasting again. But I'll probably be doing is more a spontaneous schedule. So I'll be on that spontaneous schedule, and I'll just go on any time in between that if I have stuff to do. Now, you never know. I might even be on tomorrow for a little while. You never know. I do stuff like that. If I do, I'll post that I'll be on the air for a while. Only to test a few things and to practice my moves, so to speak, maneuvers. Because I'll forget to do something like that newscast at the beginning of the show. I need to practice that newscast because for some reason I just don't. I need to get practice getting in the habit of turning on my microphone. I need to get in the habit of refreshing my board on time. And, so I really think I might just do that. I might just go ahead and just do the Spreaker Studio the rest of the show today. Because, quite frankly, sometimes whenever my web-based mixer goes down, I just say, heck with it. I'll just use the, the studio mixer. I like it better anyway. I might even just eventually on down the line forfeit the whole darn thing. Because web-based, like I said, it's okay, but when the internet goes down, you lose me. Where if the internet goes down like the other day, yeah, it told me I was needs to reconnect, but at least I don't know. I'll just find. I'll find a way. I like to use both mixers though. I like using both mixers because then I can go from one to the other, back to the other again, and get on faster. And that's the whole idea behind that. To be able to get on faster and be able to get on as soon to return back on after one segment's over. When one part is done, I could go back and pull up the next part and do it that way, and that's pretty much what I wanted to do, really. And so what I'm going to do next hour is we're going to do a scroll. Next half hour after this break, I'm going to do a scroll through social media. We're going to do that. And I'm going to talk about this surgery a little bit more, maybe. And see if there, do another spread of the part. Because each time I do a new part, I will post everywhere. And see if there's anybody out there. So stay with me, the Gary Russen program on Spreaker. We'll play some music if it starts getting kind of dry, like it probably is. So we'll probably play a little bit more music and get ready for the last part of my show as we head into the end of the Gary Russen program and start setting up to go to Iowa City. So, just say goodbye to you folks and stuff, and we'll have that segment coming up, and then we'll be talking about the Iowa City thing. So, we've got that all coming up. I hope you'll stay with me. The Gary Russen program on Spreaker across America. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you for listening. And in this next half hour, coming up, a scroll through social media, and we'll talk about various things going on in the news and find any late-breaking stories, and the Cubs are still losing. Oh my! Bottom of the ninth inning, it is still 8-5, Pittsburgh, and that means I think this game is about up for the Cubs. I think they're done. They're toast. This game's just about over with. It's almost done. I don't think they're going to win this game. I mean, they're like 8-5. Who's up? Oh, well, we got a man on. That's a switch. Who's batting? Can't tell. Should go to my game day. Usually I do that. I usually go to my game day. I cleaned this tablet out of mine, and what happened is when I cleaned it out, I lost all my bookmarks. So I have to go in there again and get my game day back up. And I lost it because I erased all my bookmarks. Smart, isn't it? Why did I do that? Gee, you think I'd be a little bit more smarter than that? Anywho, we're going to take a look here in a minute. Let me see. I got about a couple minutes left. I can take a look here. Who is up? Let me see. The other day, even my game day wasn't working. It gets me mad when that happens. It's like they plays and he's got like the one player had two players up already, and the other one was, according to game day, the other player was still up. It's like, why is game day always slow? Jiminy Cricket. It's like every time I get on there, okay, it looks like Zobrist is up. Is that Zobrist? I guess it's Zobrist is up. Chris Bryant lined out sharply to the shortstop, Jordy Mercer, for 2 out. And Zobrist is up. And then it's Contreras and Schwarber. And those two guys can hit, given the opportunity. I mean, I've seen these guys hit. I mean, they're capable of really hitting the ball. It's just once in a while. Oh, well. They're all right. What was it? High fly ball. Come on. Zobrist, Jiminy Cricket. Jeez, what is it with these guys today? They're just not doing good at all. It's like they're blowing it. It's like they like to blow it. You ever notice these guys? They like to blow it. It's like, come on, man. You do better than that. Oh, man. Come on, Cubs. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know. I think it's because yesterday they postponed the game. First, I thought they were going to play at 2:20. Then they had to clean the field, and then I come home to find out that they are, It's like, why? Oh, come on, guys. You can win. I don't know. Anyway, what is it with these darn Cubbies anyhow? Gee, can't you win a ball game? But anyway, you're listening to the Gary Russen program on GGRB Online, on Spreaker, across America and around the world. Thanks for tuning in today, and I hope you're enjoying the program. Thanks for listening to the shoe, and hope you're enjoying it wherever you're listening across America here on the GJRB Online. Here on Spreaker, and we're going to take a break and be right back, and got more to come, including more weather on the fives and a sports page, and we'll do a scroll through social media and see if there's anybody out there. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Mr. Johnson.